They wait in silence, they smile when you stumble. They wait for your weakness to reveal itself, like vultures circling a wounded beast. The world does not admire your kindness, it calculates how to use it. Every act of mercy is recorded as an opportunity. Every smile you give without reason becomes an invitation to take from you. They are not cruel, they are human. And humans respect advantage, not affection. You think goodness earns loyalty. It doesn't. It earns dependency. It earns manipulation. It earns betrayal disguised as gratitude. Machiavelli understood this long before you were born, that to be loved is to be at the mercy of others, but to be feared is to hold the reins of the world. Love can vanish overnight. Fear endures. When you are cold, you become untouchable. When you are calm, you become unreadable. When you are in control, the world bends quietly to your will. Coldness is not cruelty, it armor. It the discipline to remain unmoved while others drown in emotion. Power does not shout, it whispers. It does not beg, waits. So stop chasing approval. Approval is the currency of the powerless. Seek control instead. Command your space, your tone, your silence. Let them feel your absence more than they have felt your rents. Let your restraint become your weapon, and your posture your crown. Comment below. I move in silence, but I strike with intent. Say it again and let it sink to your blood. Because in this world the loud are forgotten, but the cold are remembered. Number 1, the anatomy of control. Control is not about dominance, it's about restraint. The weak seek to control others, the powerful control themselves. Every empire that e'er rose was built on discipline before it was built on conquest. The man who cannot master his own impulses will forever be a slave to the ones who can. They will provoke you, they will test your lips, they want your reaction, but your reaction is power given away. The moment you respond emotionally, you surrender authority. That is the first law of cold power. Control the narrative by controlling your expression. Silence is strategy. Composure is currency. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must learn to be both lion and fox. Strength without strategy is recklessness. Strategy without strength is impotence. You must be both the lion to enforce boundaries, the fox to disguise intent. When you fuse intelligence with composure, you become dangerous, not because you seek conflict, but because you no longer fear it. The modern world glorifies emotional transparency. It tells you to be open, to be vulnerable, to express how you feel. But the truth is darker. The more you expose, the more you give buzz to two against you. Emotional exposure is strategic only when you decide it useful. Otherwise, it's ammunition handed to your enemies. Control begins where emotion ends. When anger rises, breathe. When insult comes, smirk. When betrayal appears, observe. The one who reacts loses, the one who calculates wins. People cannot manipulate what they cannot read. That's the secret of Machiavellian posture, the art of being unreadable, of saying nothing yet controlling everything. Every powerful man in history understood this. Caesar, Napoleon, Rockefeller. They mastered their silence. Their calmness wasn't weakness, it was precision. It terrified people. Because when someone cannot predict your next move, they can never prepare to stop you. Coldness makes you untouchable. Control also means emotional detachment from outcomes. You must learn to move without attachment, to act without desperation. Desperation leaks energy. It makes you predictable. Power belongs to the man who could walk away and still smile. If you can detach from what you desire, you control both it and those who chase it. That's why stoicism isn't passivity, it's dominance through stillness. You must also understand manipulation, not at cruelty, but the awareness. Everyone manipulates. Some do it consciously, others by instinct. But the difference between the predator and the prey is intent. To manipulate means to guide energy, to move others without being moved yourself. It's not about deception for its own sake, it's about direction. Influence, psychological geometry. When you master control, you don't chase people, they orbit you. Your words weigh more because you add them less. Your presence commands attention as it's unpredictable. Power is never loud, it's the quiet that makes others uneasy. When they can't read you, they start writing stories in their own heads, stories that give you leverage. So control your face, control your tone, control your time. If something doesn't serve your evolution, does not deserve your reaction, don't argue, don't insane, don't justify. The moment you start explaining, you lower your status. The powerful don't convince, they demonstrate. Every time you feel the urge to speak, ask yourself, is this for power or validation? If it's validation, stay silent. If it's power, speak with precision. The tongue is a weapon, with intention, not emotion. Remember, this cold doesn't mean lifeless, it means tawty, detached, dangerous. Comment below, I control life, therefore I control everything. Because that the truth most men never learn, the world bends to the disciplined, not the desperate. Number 2, the mask of power. They will not understand you at first. They will call your calmness arrogance, your silence pride, your detachment indifference. But you must remember, perception is not your concern, reaction is weakness, control is evolution. The mask of power is not deceit, it is discipline. It is the ability to stand still when chaos surrounds you, to smile when provoked, to see clear when emotion tries to cloud the lens of reason. A strong man does not need to as strength, it radiates through his stillness. There is a quiet gravity and posure, the kind that bends the energy of a room without a word spoken. People may not know why they respect you, they simply feel they must. That is the essence of presence. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be rushed. It is built through the long, lonely hours of self-refinement. True power begins within. The one who governs his thoughts governs his world. Your emotions are signals, not shackles. You are not your anger, your fear, or your desire. They are weather passing through your sky. Let them move, but never let them dictate. The stoic man watches the storm and remains unmoved, knowing that storms pass, but the mountain remains. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The need to prove is the child of insecurity. Let others chase validation, you chase progress. You are not there to be seen, you are there to become. Becoming requires quiet work, quiet discipline, quiet confidence. The kind of strength that doesn't post, doesn't shout, doesn't demand, it simply exists. Your calmness is your fortress. It protects your clarity, it shields your focus. The moment you let the world provoke you, you hand them the blueprint to your emotions. Guard your inner world at sacred ground, not out of fear, but out of respect for what you are building. Stillness is not passivity. It is the highest form of control. It means you choose when to act, not because emotion commands you, but because reason guides you. Every action becomes precise. Every word becomes deliberate. Every decision becomes a weapon sharpened by patience. In this world, chaos rewards the disciplined. The man who can remain calm while others panic holds invisible power. Because while they react, you observe. While they crumble, you adapt. Power is not in being louder, it in being unshaken. Machiavelli spoke of rulers, but his truth applies to all men. Those who remain unmovable earn the world quiet respect. You don't need to dominate to command respect. You only need to embody mastery. Leadership is not about control, it's about consistency. People follow stability because they crave what they lack, and that is why your strength must never become aggression. Power must never become pride. Coldness is not cruelty, it's clarity. It's the decision to lead with reason when emotion would destroy. When you walk with calm purpose, you elevate others simply by being unbreakable. There is beauty in discipline. There is peace in structure. The man who orders his life with intention feels no need to chase chaos. He builds his routine like armor. He moves with purpose, knowing that each day mastered is a brick in the fortress of self-respect. When you reach that level of control, you stop competing with others. You compete only with your former self. You become too cozy to envy, too grounded to be shaken, too self-assured to seek approval. That's where power becomes peace, and peace becomes strength. Every morning, remind yourself your emotions serve you. You don't serve them. Your mind is a weapon. Keep it sharp, keep it steady, keep it yours. You do not need to manipulate the world when you've mastered yourself. Influence flows naturally to those who radiate certainty. Comment below, my calm is my power. Say it again and mean it. Because calmness is not weakness, it's the rarest strength of all. Number 3.
The price of solitude.
They will not walk with you once the road gets quiet. The noise of company fades when your focus sharp pet. That, the unspoken truth of power, solitude is the entry fee. The more you refine yourself, the fewer people can stand the weight of your presence. And that not loneliness, that filtration. Solitude is where you stop performing and start becoming. When you're alone, there's no applause, no validation, no distraction. There's only the mirror and the question that echoes back. Who are you when no one watching? Most people run from that question. The strong face it every day. Because self-respect is forged in the hours when no one is looking. Machiavelli once said that a wise man builds his foundations before the storm arrives. That what solitude is, your fortress under construction. Every quiet morning, every moment of discipline, every sacrifice that feels invisible is a brick in that fortress. Others won't understand why you disappear. They'll call it obsession, arrogance, isolation. Let them. You're not there to be understood, you're here to be unshaken. In solitude, the world slows down. You start to hear your own thoughts, raw, unfiltered, uncomfortable. At first, it feels heavy. You'll confront your fears, your regrets, your weaknesses. But once you stop running, you realize something powerful. Solitude isn't empty. It's full of answers. Every silence you endure becomes a conversation with your higher self. Every quiet moment refines your destination. The modern world fears stillness. It fills every second with noise, notifications, in-ins, distractions. But power grows in silence. Wisdom grows in stillness. You don't evolve by absorbing everything, you evolve by filtering what matters. When you sit alone and think, you're doing the rarest thing in this age. You're taking command of your mind. Solitude builds self-trust. You start fake decisions without needing permission. You start valuing your intuition over external approval. You stop explaining yourself because your purpose no longer requires explanation. That's the mark of strength, to know what you're doing and why, even when no one believes in it yet. But solitude isn't about isolation from people. It's about insulation from noise. You can walk among us without absorbing their chaos. You can listen without being influenced. You can engage without losing your center. When you master this, you're not just alone, you're aligned. The powerful don't escape into solitude, they build from it. They view it to sharpen focus, reset energy, and return stronger. Solitude is not punishment but preparation. The world may call it loneliness, but it's the soil of greatness. The men who change the world are the ones who first dared to sit alone in it. The weak chase distraction because stillness exposes truth. The strong embrace it because truth is the foundation of far progress. When you know who you are, no one perception can shake you. When you master your solitude, no crowd can control you. You'll find peace in simplicity, in the ritual of structure, in the order of your thoughts, in the clarity of purpose. Every day becomes a test. Can you stay centered while the world tries to pull you in 1,000 directions? The answer lies in discipline. Discipline is loyalty to your future self. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your foundation. The world will try to guilt you for choosing yourself, but you're not rejecting them. You're protecting your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your focus. Not a voice deserves to enter your mind. Be selective. Your energy is currency, your attention is investment, and solitude is the vault that protects both. A time will come when your peace offers people who thrive on chaos. They'll try to provoke reaction, to pull you back into noise. Don't respond. Silence is not weakness, it's precision. When you withhold your reaction, you maintain your direction. That's the true essence of cold strength, not detachment from humanity, but mastery of a reaction. There's a quote worth remembering: "The lion walks alone, but it never lonely." That's the solitude amplifies purpose. When you're alone, you stop echoing others. You begin to sound like yourself. That's where authenticity is born, not in crowds, but in quiet. You'll find that solitude also cleanses ambition. You stop chasing recognition and start chasing refinement. You start realizing that being great isn't about being seen, it's about being solid. The strongest men are not the ones who demand attention. They are the ones who can vanish for months and return transformed. So don't fear solitude, fear distraction, fear the dilution of your focus. Every moment spent seeking validation is a moment stolen from mastery. Withdraw into your purpose, build your inner empire. Brick by brick, day by day. When the time comes, your silence will speak louder than any speech. When you walk alone with conviction, you become your own momentum. You don't need motivation, you are motivation. You don't chase energy, you generate it. Solitude gives you that. It gives you the blueprint of independence that few can be expressed. Comment below: my solitude is my strength. Because solitude doesn't take from you, it gives you back to yourself. It not a void, it a forge. From that forge emerges the version of you that the world cannot rake, cannot sway, and cannot ignore. Number 4. The discipline of emotion. Emotion is the most powerful force inside you, and the most dangerous. It can build empires or burn them to ash. The difference lies in control. The man who cannot command his emotions is not free, he ruled by them. But the one who disciplines his emotions becomes unshakable, because no external chaos can move what is internally still. They told you to feel everything, but they forgot to tell you that feelings lie. Emotion is the weather, your mind is the climate. The weather changes every hour, but the climate determines everything that grows. You must choose to build your life based on principles, not moods. Moods shift with time. Principles endure through storms. Machiavelli understood this without naming it. The wise man adapts without surrendering his nature. He uses emotion a tool, never a guide. You must learn the say, feel deeply, but act strategically. The one who can feel anger and still choose calm, who can feel fear and still move forward, who can feel doubt and still decide, that one cannot be broken. Most people drown in emotion because they never learn to separate what they feel from what they are. You are not your anger. You are not your sadness. You are the awareness watching it rise and fall. Detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It's see emotion without becoming it. It's the strength to hold your fire without letting it consume you. Discipline begins with awareness. Watch how emotion tries to command you, how it pushes you to react, to rush, to exclaim, to prove. Pause. That pause is power. In that space between stimulus and response, you become untouchable. Emotion urges reaction, wisdom waits. Stillness is the difference between the reactive man and the sovereign man. A disciplined man does not suppress emotion, he channels it. Anger becomes drive, fear becomes vigilance, pain becomes endurance. Every feeling has energy transmuted. The one who learns to redirect emotion instead of resisting it becomes unstoppable. That not denial, it mastery. There will be times when emotion tests you, when betrayal cuts, when plans fall apart, when life weight feels unbearable. Remember this: the strongest steel is forged in fire. Pain is not punishment, it pressure. It reveals where your character cracks, uses shape it. Let a hardship become a lesson in composure. You are not being destroyed, you are being refined. Emotional discipline doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you start caring selectively. You don't waste energy on what you can't control. You don't fight battles that drain your focus. You protect your peace the way a warrior protects his weapon. Because once your peace is gone, your precision is gone. The disciplined man practices emotional awareness at training a muscle. He wakes up and checks his state. What am I feeling? Why is it useful? Is it not useful? He releases it. He refuses to let fleeting emotion decide permanent outcomes. He makes his emotions serve his purpose, not sabotage it. The modern world glorifies sensitivity without strength, reaction without reasoning. But true balance is the harmony of both. A heart that feels deeply and a mind that decides wisely. Emotion should enhance your humanity, not control your destiny. When you master emotion, you can walk through conflict with serenity. You can face insult without rage, failure without despair, success without arrogance. Emotional maturity is the rarest form of dominance. It doesn't shout, it doesn't seek revenge, it doesn't need validation, it simply knows. Knowing is enough. The man who knows what moves him cannot be moved by anyone else. This mastery begins with habits. Meditate on your reactions, reflect daily, write your thoughts, not to vent but to refine them. Speak less when you're emotional, breathe before you respond, delay decisions when your blood is hot. These simple acts are not weakness, they are control mechanisms. They train your mind to respond with intelligence instead of instinct. Understand this: emotion itself is not the enemy, lack of direction is. Power without emotion becomes hollow, emotion without control becomes chaos. Combine the two and you become a force of nature, strong, deliberate, balanced. When people provoke you, remember, they're trying to borrow your energy. Don't lend it to them. The moment you react in anger, you've handed them control. Maintain composure. Observe, assess, move only when it's time. That the rhythm of the disciplined mind, slow to react, swift to act. Emotion is a storm, discipline is the anchor. Be the anchor. The sea will rage, but it cannot move what is grounded. People will project their chaos onto you, trying to pull you into their emotional tide. Stay centered. Your calmness will expose their instability. Your silence will reveal their noise. Do not confuse stillness with passivity. The disciplined man is always aware, observing angles, waiting for precision. Calmness does not mean submission, it means readiness. When the time to act comes, act with clarity. Move with lightning, but think like ice. The greatest warriors, philosophers, and leaders shared one trait: emotional command. Marcus Aurelius, Napoleon, Mandela, each faced storms of criticism, betrayal, or loss. Yet they moved with purpose. Not because they lacked emotion, but because they refused to let emotion dictate their ration. They turned inner turbulence into focus. You are capable of the same. You don't need to silence your emotions, you need to train them. Treat each emotional surge like a test. Can you remain centered when others lose control? Can you hold your ground while the world shouts? that the measure of your discipline, your emotional discipline, decides your mental weight. The calm man isn't empty, he's concentrated. His energy doesn't scatter. His attention doesn't leak. That's why people feel something when he walks into a room, an unspoken presence, built from years of controlled energy. Train daily. In conversation. When you're disrespected, stay composed. When plans fail, stay cake. When praised, stay humble. Emotion wants to pull you off balance. Discipline keeps you upright. Every moment of restraint adds to your strength. Every moment of composure adds to your command. You will notice something powerful when you live like this. Your emotions stop controlling your choices and start fueling your purpose. You'll feel anger, but use it to work harder. You'll feel sadness, but use it to build empathy. You'll feel fear, but use it to prepare better. Emotion becomes energy. Energy becomes mastery. This is the discipline that separates the strong from the scattered. The world respects the man who cannot be shaken, not because he is cold, but because he is centered. Coldness without compassion is emptiness. Discipline with purpose is power. The goal is not to freeze your heart, but to train it, to feel everything, but be moved by nothing until you choose. Comment below, my emotions serve V, not rule B. Because mastery isn't the absence of emotion, it's the precision of it. You will not always control what you feel, but you always control what you become. Because of it. And that is emotional discipline. That is strength, disguised as calm. That is what makes you untouched. Number 5, the power of detachment. Detachment is not apathy, it is mastery. It is the ability to stand within the storm and see clear while others lose themselves to the wind. The power of detachment is not about rejecting life, it's about engaging with it without being consumed by it. When you learn to detach, you don't withdraw from the world, you simply stop letting it dictate who you are. Detachment begins with pit. Most people live like leaves in a storm, blown by praise, crushed by criticism, carried by whatever emotion the moment brings. But the detached man is the tree, rooted in principle. The world moves around him, but he remains steady. The detached man sees events for what they are, not what his emotions want them to be. He knows this: nothing is entirely good, and nothing is entirely bad. Everything simply is. When you detach, you begin to see life from the position of the observer, not the victim, not the reactor, but the architect. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I build from this? That shift changes everything. It turns pain into strength, failure into feedback, chaos into clarity. Detachment is not cold-heartedness, it's emotional intelligence in motion. It's the recognition that attachment creates suffering. When you cling to outcomes, to people, to approval, you hand away your peace. You start living reactively, always waiting for something outside of yourself to validate what's inside. But when you detach, you become whole again. You return to your center. You start to move with purpose, not need. Think of water. It flows freely because it doesn't cling to shape. It adapts to every obstacle, yet nothing can stop it for long. Be like water, fluid, adaptable, unbound by rigid expectation. When something blocks your path, don't resist it, redirect around it. Detachment is flexibility. It's power through adaptability. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the prepared mind, and preparation requires perfected. You cannot think strategically if you're emotionally entangled. Detachment gives you the high ground. It lets you see clearly, decide cleanly, and move efficiently. When others panic, you calculate. When they cling, you release. That not indifference, that intelligence. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring correctly. You stop investing in what drains you and start investing in what sustains you. You stop measuring your worth by outcomes and start measuring it by alignment. Success doesn't always mean you win. Sometimes it means you stayed composed. Sometimes it means you acted with integrity when it would have been easier not to. To live detached is to live free. Freedom is not about doing whatever you want, it's about not being ruled by what you want. You still decide, but desire no longer drives you. You still feel, but feeling no longer blinds you. You still love, but love no longer weak you. It strengthens you, because it grounded in choice, not dependence. The detached man knows how to release. He releases control over what he cannot change. He releases resentment that poisons focus. He releases expectations that create disappointment. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The strongest men are not those who hold tightly, but those who know when to let go with peace. Look at nature. Everything grows and releases in cycles. The tree lets go of its leaves every autumn, not because it's weak, but because it knows that letting go creates space for renewal. You are no different. Let go is how you make room for growth. Detachment isn't death, it's rebirth. In a world that feeds on reaction, detachment is rebellion. Society wants you triggered, scrolling endlessly, comparing constantly, consuming without awareness. Detachment breaks that cycle. It lets you observe the game without being trapped in it. You don't have to reject society to detach. You just have to stop letting it define your peace. The more you practice detachment, the stronger your presence becomes. People feel it. They can't explain it, but they sense the difference. You're not chasing, not proving, not grasping. You simply are. That calm, grounded presence unsettles those who thrive on chaos, but it also inspires those searching for peace. The power of detachment is that it gives you back your focus. When you stop trying to control everything, your energy condenses. You act with precision. You stop spreading yourself thin, trying to fix what isn't yours to fix. You start pouring that energy into mastery, your work, your growth, your purpose, and the world begins to respond. Not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. In detachment, you also discover humility. You realize how little you actually control, and yet how much power you hold over your reactions. You stop fighting what is and start flowing with what can be. That humility becomes your shield against arrogance and despair. It reminds you that life doesn't owe you anything, and that exactly what makes every victory earned, every peace precious. The detached man lives with lightness. He doesn't carry unnecessary battles. He doesn't drag old wounds into new days. He forgives quickly, not for others, but for his own clarity. Forgiveness at its root is detachment. It's the decision to stop carrying what no longer serves your evolution. But don't mistake detachment for isolation. You can love deeply and still be detached. You can care for others without losing yourself in them. Detachment doesn't close your heart, it purifies it. It removes desperation from connection, possession from affection, and dependency from love. You start giving freely because you no longer fear loss. The essence of detachment is this: you own your response to everything. No matter what life throws at you, rejection, failure, betrayal, you decide what it means. You cannot control the winds, but you can adjust your sails. That detachment in motion, it living by intention, not reaction. There will be moments when detachment feels lonely. You'll see others caught in emotional whirlwinds, and you'll wonder if your calmness is detachment or distance. But then you'll notice something. You're still at peace. You still move forward. You still choose reason over chaos. That's when you'll understand. Detachment isn't distance from life, it's closeness to truth. Practice it daily. When someone criticizes you, pause. When plans fall apart, breathe. When uncertainty rises, step back and observe. The moment you detach from needing outcomes, you gain control over process. And process is that progress hides. Detachment is the evolution of discipline. First, you learn to control yourself. Then you learn to release yourself. Freedom is the final form of control, not because you own the world, but because nothing owns you. Comment below, nothing controls me. I move with peace. Say it once, with conviction. That is detachment in its purest form, not emptiness, but fullness of awareness. The ability to engage with life completely, yet remain untouched by its illusions. And that is where you truly become powerful, calm, deliberate, unstoppable. Number 6, the art of restraint. Restraint is the highest form of power. Anyone can act on impulse, anyone can react in anger, but to pause, to hold your hand when every part of you wants to strike, to stay silent when pride begs you to speak, that mastery. The world calls it coldness, the wise call ill control. Restraint is not weakness, it is the disciplined redirection of strength. It's the art of doing less, but achieving more. It choosing not to respond when reaction would waste energy. It knowing when to move, it when to wait. A lion doesn't roar at every noise in the jungle. It saves its strength for the moment that matters. Every great man in history learned restraint the hard way, through loss, through mistake, through the realization that reaction satisfies the ego, but weak wit the soul. Restraint, on the other hand, multiplies energy. It builds pressure. It turns chaos into calculation. Every second you don't react emotionally, your composure compounds. Machiavelli hinted at this truth when he said that fortune favors those who move with timing, not emotion. Restraint is timing made flesh. It knowing that there are differences between being ready and being reckless. The disciplined man acts not when he feels like it, but when it's time. He can wait, because his strength doesn't decay in stillness. It's sharp pet. We live in an age addicted to reaction. Every opinion demands a response. Every insult asks for defense. But the powerful man has nothing to prove. His restraint speaks for him. He knows that every argument, every outburst, every emotional leak is energy lost. The moment you explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you, you've lowered your value. Restraint is a filter. It separates the impulsive from the intentional. It keeps your circle small, your move unpredictable, your life efficient. Because the man who controls his impulses controls his direction. The one who reacts to everything ends uncontrolled by everything. Restraint is not silence born of fear. It's silence born of focus. It knowing that your words carry weight only when used sparingly. It the pause before the sentence that makes others listen. It understanding that silence is not empty. It full of tension, awareness, power. In the battlefield of life, the impulsive man burns fast and dies early. The restrained man endures. He sees what others miss. Because he's not blinded by reaction, he can read the room, sense energy, calculate consequence. His calmness unsettles those who thrive on chaos. Because restraint is unpredictable. No one knows when or he'll move. Only that when he does, it'd be decisive. Restraint builds presence. When you stop reacting, people start wondering what you're thinking. They start adjusting themselves around your silence. Power often isn't taken, it transferred from the loud to the calm, from the reckless to the measured. The one who holds his ground without flinching commands the space without saying a word. But restraint isn't external, it's internal. It's the art of mastering desire, the ability to delay gratification, to control hunger, to sacrifice now for later. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you build psychological muscle. Every time you choose patience over impulse, you strengthen your self-respect. Restraint turns potential into precision. Discipline begins where desire ends. The modern man is addicted to immediacy, fast comfort, fast pleasure, fast validation. But real strength is built in the slow grind. The man who could say no to what is easy becomes capable of what is rare. Every moment of restraint compounds into future dominance. Think of the archer. The arrow power doesn't come from being released, it comes from being drawn back. The longer he waits, the stronger the shot. Restraint is that pull. The tension before impact, the patience before precision. Without restraint, energy scatters. With restraint, energy strikes. Restraint is emotional discipline expressed through action. When you can feel deeply but act wisely, you evolve from human instinct to human mastery. It's easy to let emotion dictate behavior, it's difficult to let purpose do it. But once you do, choice becomes deliberate. You stop living reactively and start living strategically. The greatest leaders, from generals to philosophers, understood restraint. That's the foundation of leadership. The one who cannot lead himself cannot lead others. Restraint creates space for thought. Thought creates clarity. Clarity creates direction. And direction creates influence. The chain begins with restraint. There will be moments when restraint feels unnatural. When anger calls you to fight, when pride demands a response, when desire whispers that now is the moment. That when you breathe and remember the urge to react is temporary, but the consequences of reaction are not. Restraint is self-respect in motion. It's saying, I don't move unless I choose to. It's power over self, not others. It's the realization that peace is not found through control of the external world, it's found through mastery of the internal one. When you can restrain your reactions, you control your reality. Restraint also protects your energy from dilution. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every battle deserves your sword. Some situations are designed to provoke, to drain, to distract. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You're not surrendering, you're preserving. Every time you withhold reaction, you protect your energy for what truly matters. Restraint also strengthens perception. The man who waits sees. The man who reacts blinds himself. When you can pause and observe before deciding, patterns reveal themselves. People show their intentions. Situations unfold naturally. Patience becomes your reconnaissance. But in the paradox, restraint isn't passive, it's active awareness. It's the constant evaluation of whether action serves your mission or your ego. The ego always wants the last word. The mission only wants results. Choose the mission. Every time you let the ego go quiet, wisdom takes its pace. Restraint builds mystery, not because you hide, but because you choose what to reveal. The world respects what it cannot predict. Your restraint keeps them guessing, keeps them cautious, keeps you in control of your narrative. You don't need to boast when your calmness already signals confidence. Over time, restraint turns into rhythm. You stop fighting urges, you outgrow them. You stop chasing recognition, you radiate authority. You stop explaining your silence, your results isolated for you. That the quiet transformation restraint brings. The shift from loud ambition to quiet excellence. The man who masters restraint becomes his own fortress. His emotions don't storm his mind, his impulses don't sabotage his plans. He moves like chess, not checkers, one step ahead, every move intentional. That kind of man doesn't just survive the world, he shapes it. Restraint also builds respect, not demanded, but earned. People begin to sense your stability. They know you won't crumble under pressure. They trust your word because they see your patience. The most magnetic energy in a room is controlled confidence. The calm man commands attention because he has mastered what most cannot, himself. Practice restraint in speech. Speak less, say more. Every unnecessary word dilutes authority. Practice restraint in movement. Don't rush, move deliberately. Every action should carry intention. Practice restraint in thought. Don't let fear or fantasy rule your decisions. Think clear, act slowly, deliver decisively. That elegance in restraint. It the unseen edge of mastery. The beauty of control over chaos. The quiet reminder that you no longer live at the mercy of impulses. You are not dragged by emotion, you are guided by vision. The more you practice restraint, the freer you become, because you're no longer enslaved to reaction, validation, or noise. You own your time, you own your thoughts, you own your energy. And that ownership, that quiet sovereignty, is the foundation of untouched power. Comment below, my restraint is my strength. Number 7, the weight of legacy. Legacy. A word that echoes beyond the noise of life. Most people chase moments, the wise build legacies. The difference is vision. A moment feeds the ego, a legacy feeds history. The truth is brutal, most will be forgotten. Their words will fade, their names will dissolve in the dust of time. Only a few carve themselves in the memory of the world, and they share one trait, discipline forged through purpose. They understood that legacy is not built in comfort, nor born from applause. It is carved through isolation, forged through struggle, and sealed through consistency. Legacy begins in silence, when no one is watching, when you're grinding through the mundane repetitions that others quit on. It not built in the spotlight, it built in the dark, brick by brick, moment by moment. A disciplined decision, a act of integrity, every instance of restraint, those are the invisible threads that will one day weave your name into something eternal. Machiavelli once wrote that men are judged not by their intentions but by their outcomes. The world does not remember what you meant to do, it remembers what you did. Legacy is evidence of endurance. The long run of staying the course when emotion begged you to fold. Build a legacy, you must accept one truth. Comfort is the enemy of remembrance. Ease kills greatness. Those who chase constant comfort dissolve into mediocrity. Those who embrace discomfort evolve into icons. The path to legacy is not lined with comfort, it lined with consistency. Legacy isn't about fame. Fame fades. Legacy doesn't. Fame is what the crowd gives you. Legacy is what time gives you. Fame is fragile, dependent on perception. Legacy is structural, built on contribution. One dies with the spotlight, the other survives the centuries. Ask yourself this: what do you want to remain after your final breath? Because every day you write that answer with your actions. Every word you speak, every habit you reinforce, every decision you all of it compounds. You may not see it yet, but it's forming the foundation of your future. The disciplined man knows this. He moves with intent, as he understands that today choices are tomorrow legend. He chooses focus over distraction, purpose over pleasure, structure over spontaneity, because he knows the temporary thrill of ease can't compete with the eternal peace of achievement. Legacy isn't built on what you start, it's built on what you finish. Anyone can begin with energy, few can endure with patience. The great ones persist when the applause stops. They build when no one claps. They show up when motivation dies. Because they know legacy requires more than effort. It requires identity. It's not something you do, it's something you become. Legacy is not given, it earned through repetition, through showing up when it hurts, through doing what others won't because you've accepted a truth they can't. That greatness is boring. It the same day, repeated 1,000 times with precision. The same habits, the same grind, the same quiet war with yourself. And yet beautiful, because through that repetition you build something unbreakable, a standard, a reputation, a name that carries weight. When your discipline becomes predictable, your results become inevitable. Every great figure in history lived with the awareness of legacy. Marcus Aurelius wrote not for fame but for integrity. His words were meant to keep his soul sharp, and centuries later they sharpen ours. That the paradox of legacy: you don't chase it, you embody it. When you live with purpose, legacy builds itself. Legacy isn't only about grand impact, it's about alignment. If you live true to your principles, you've already created something timeless. Your consistency becomes example. Your character becomes blueprint. You don't need to build empires to leave a mark, you only need to live a proof of what discipline can do. The weight of legacy is not burden, it's responsibility. It's the realization that your actions ripple beyond your lifespan. A word you speak influences something. Every choice you make either strengthens or weakens your name. To carry that awareness is to live consciously. To live consciously is to live powerfully. Legacy demands you act with patience. It demands that you build when others rest, that you delay gratification not because you're denying yourself joy, but as you're investing in permanence. Every time you choose to endure rather than escape, you're laying another stone in the monument of your life. And understand this: legacy doesn't demand perfection, it demands perseverance. You will fail, you will stumble, you will fall short, but legacy is written in recovery, not avoidance. What you do after you fall defines more than how you stand before it. The world remembers those who rise. There a quiet dignity in long-term vision. It the discipline to think in decades, not days. The patience to build something that will last longer than your body. When you act with legacy in mind, your priorities sharpen, your distractions fade, temporary opinions lose meaning. You no longer ask what feels good right now, you ask what will still matter when I'm gone. Legacy purifies the mind. It removes the noise of comparison because you stop competing with others. You compete only with your potential. You become a craftsman of your own excellence. Every day becomes practice. Every failure becomes feedback. Every win becomes another brick in the architecture of your immortality. And when you live that way, intentionally, patiently, relentlessly, something changes. You stop chasing validation because your purpose validates itself. You stop seeking recognition because your results are speaking for you. Legacy doesn't announce itself, it reveals itself, slowly, quietly, inevitably. People will not always understand you. They will misread your silence. They will question your discipline. They will call you obsessive. But legacy is not understood by the present, it's judged by the future. Every visionary was misunderstood in his time, but time always bows to those who outlast it. To build a legacy, live as though your future self is watching, because he is. He watching every decision, every sacrifice, every compromise. He the one who will carry the weight of what you build or rake. Make choices that he can be proud of. Legacy is built in layers, through focus, through patience, through repetition. When you live by principles instead of emotion, you create order from chaos. That order becomes clarity. That clarity becomes identity. And identity becomes legacy. One day your body will fade. Your voice will fall silent. But your energy, your imprint, will remain. It will live in the habits you taught, the values you embodied, the strength you demonstrated. Legacy is not about being remembered by millions, it's about being remembered by what you changed, even if it's one life, included your own. When you live for legacy, you start to carry yourself differently. You speak less, because you're aware your words et. You act slower, because you know your moves leave marks. You build carefully, because you realize you're crafting something eternal. That the weight of legacy, it humbles you, but it also elevates you. It reminds you that your time is limited, but your impact isn't. It sharpens your focus. It teaches you that immortality isn't about never dying, it's about never being forgotten. Comment below, my actions outlive my name. Because legacy is not written on stone, it's written in time. And every disciplined day you live adds another chapter to your story, one that will speak long after you're gone. Number 8. The Code of Unbreakable Focus. Focus is the pure-used form of power. It doesn't roar or demand attention, but it silently decides who arise, and who will remain ordinary. The world doesn't bend to strength alone, it bends to sustained attention. What you consistently focus on grows, and what you neglect fades into obscurity. That is the first law of mastery. Your life expands or contracts according to the sharpness of your mind. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they cannot stay towed long enough to let their potential mature. They scatter their attention like dust in the wind, chasing every impulse, every distraction, every artificial reward disguised as entertainment or relevance. They live half awake, feeding their minds with fragments of noise until their concentration becomes fractured beyond repair. Then they wonder why progress feels impossible. The truth is simple. A divided mind conquers nothing. Unbreakable focus isn't built to motivation, it's built to discipline. It's not about the intensity of attention, it's about the continuity of it. Anyone can focus for an hour, very few can focus for years. True power belongs to the one who stays centered while the world drifts. He doesn't move from impulse, he moves from intention. He doesn't chase opportunity, he creates alignment. Every decision he makes serves his vision or it gets eliminated. There is no middle ground for a mind that has chosen den. Focus is forged in subtraction, not addition. The more you remove, the stronger you become. Every distraction cut away, every unnecessary obligation released, a person who drains your energy quietly removed. That is, the clarity grows. The disciplined man understands that energy leaks through the small head of carelessness. A cluttered environment leads to a cluttered mind. Simplification is not aesthetic, it's tactical. Focus thrives in simplicity, dies in noise. Machiavelli once observed that fortune favors the prepared mind, and preparation requires quiet. The modern world glorifies reaction. It rewards constant availability, instant communication, immediate opinions. But the man of focus is immune to that chaos. He is not ruled by the speed of us, he moves by his own internal rhythm. His calm is unnerving because it cannot be rushed. His attention is deliberate, and his time is sacred. When us demand his reaction, he gives them own silence. And silence, when controlled, is the most powerful form of presence. Focus requires patience, and patience in a distracted world is rebellion. Everyone seeks stimulation, few cultivate stillness. But stillness is where precision is born. The man who can remain fully present in a seed task for long stretches of time eventually dominates the man who multitasks his energy into exhaustion. Depth always beats speed. The deeper you go, the rarer your results. Greatness isn't found in scattered effort, it's found in devout immersion. There is a direct connection between focus and emotion. Emotion clouds attention, scattering energy toward fear, ego, or desire. The undisciplined man moves when he feels, the disciplined man moves when it's time. When you learn to detach emotion from execution, your consistency becomes bulletproof. Emotion can inspire you, but old structure sustains you. Focus doesn't care how you feel, it demands you show up anyway. That's what separates those who dream from those who build. To master focus, you must learn to be bored. The mind addicted to stimulation can never master anything. Every skill, every craft, every empire is built through the repetition that boredom hides inside it. The average man flees from monotony, the disciplined man embraces it, training. He understands that every repeated movement sizzles precision into his psyche. Focus turns repetition into ritual, and ritual in dominance. The one who learns to stay in the grind with it needing constant excitement becomes unstoppable. Your attention is currency. Every second of focus is an investment in your future self. Every moment of distraction is theft. Modern life is a market designed to buy your attention cheaply and sell it back to you in the form of anxiety and confusion. But when you learn to direct your attention intentionally, the market collapses. No one profits from a man who cannot be distracted. That's why you concerning are rare, because they're dangerous to systems that thrive on weakness. To sustain focus, you must create an environment that reinforces it. Order is clarity, and clarity is control. Clean your space, organize your time. Simplify your surroundings until everything around you reflects your purpose. Focus isn't just mental, it's physical. The way you structure your environment mirrors the way you structure your thoughts. Every element in your space should either contribute to your mission or get removed. The more aligned your environment, the stronger your concentration becomes. Focus all requires sacrifice. You cannot serve two masters. Progress and distraction do not coexist. You must learn to say no, and you must mean it. No to comfort disguised as self-care. No to mediocrity disguised as balance. No to the unnecessary when your purpose demands the essential. Every no you say to what doesn't matter, sharp pet the edge of what does. The man who can deny impulse gains access to clarity that the indulgent never taste. Over time, focus becomes identity. It stops being something you do and becomes who you are. You begin to move differently. You speak with precision, act with restraint, and feed decisions based on alignment, not approval. People feel your direction before you say a word. They sense it in your eyes, in your stillness, in your certainty. That the aura of faux men, calm, grounded, unstoppable. Focus radiates presence because it creates inner order, and order commands respect. Focus is not about aggression, it's about calibration. It is silent awareness that nothing external can compete with internal direction. The man of focus does not chase control, he embodies it. He doesn't react to the world, he responds to his vision. When distraction approaches, he smiles, because he knows distraction is a test, a challenge meant to prove his dedication. Focus is not resistance, it's endurance. It's holding your ground when the world tries to pull you away from yourself. And when you live like this, your confidence shifts. You no longer need validation, as focus produces proof. Each completed task reinforces belief. Each disciplined day stacks evidence. You stop telling yourself you can, because you already did. Focus transforms faith as certainty. The mind that follows through becomes unshaken. In the end, focus is not a skill, it's a lifestyle. It's the constant sharpening of awareness, the daily battle between purpose and noise. It's not glamorous, and it's not easy. It's repetition, it's refusal, it's quiet persistence. But it is also liberation, because once your attention belongs fully to you, nothing external owns you anymore. The world cannot pull you, your mind refuses to go. Comment below, my focus is my fortress. Because when your attention is fortified, your peace is protected. When your peace is protected, your power becomes absolute. Focus is not just the key to success, it's the foundation of freedom. It is how you become sovereign in a world designed to enslave your attention. And once you master it, you no longer chase opportunity. Opportunity starts orbiting you.